always watching out for you. This is KOAA News 5 at 6.
Welcome in. We start tonight with a live look outside on this first day of spring, and we couldn't have asked for a better day. Remember, at this time last week, parts of southern Colorado were in the middle of that massive blizzard.
Yeah, we're about 2 hours into spring, and so we asked Mike Daniels, I know it's early, Mike, but can we finally say goodbye to winter?
Oh, around here you can say goodbye about Memorial Day.
There you go.
Yeah, next couple of months we can get snow
Right.
at any time around here. But yeah, it's just nice to know that spring is finally here. We had a little celebration back in the weather office.
always
It was very nice.
Snacks and soft drinks, nothing formal. But yeah, we're just so happy that spring is finally here. Look at those temperatures to welcome in spring. 58 in Colorado Springs, Pueblo 63. The warm spot in Colorado today, Lamar 65 degrees this afternoon. Here's your next weather maker. Here's what I'm watching for you. Storm system coming our way out of the southwest. Yes, it's headed right for the state of Colorado. Now tomorrow that thing is going to mean some real heavy snow across the San Juan Mountains, over a foot of wind-driven snow there. And by Friday that storm is going to bring rain and maybe even a few thunderstorms to parts of the News 5 viewing area. Tomorrow morning, rolling out the door, temperatures into the 20s, sunshine at noon, clouds start to thicken during the afternoon hours, but still dry tomorrow afternoon for your drive at 5. So here's your bottom line, clear and not as cold tonight. Rain, snow, and even thunder on Friday, and a new storm with rain and snow by Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. More on that coming up.
Mike, thank you. Colorado State Patrol detailing what caused a deadly crash in Pueblo earlier today. A Ford Focus was traveling north on Pueblo Boulevard when the driver went to make a left-hand turn onto Spalding. It was hit by a Chevy S10 pickup truck. The driver of the Ford, 69-year-old Betty Stockman, pronounced dead at the scene. The 35-year-old driver of the truck was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Both of them were wearing seat belts.
Well, the severe weather is having a direct impact on cattle prices and what you pay for beef. We caught up with the owner of the La Junta Livestock Commission. He says he's already seen an increase in prices for cattle go up about 20 to 30% the past couple of weeks because of our storms.
Long term, you could see a price increase another 15–20% through the summer and the fall and winter time, just because it's all by the pound. Everything, your steak is by the pound, the ounce, and whatever. Well, the same thing for the people that we sell cattle for.
The silver lining here is cattle will be able to eat from the pastures instead of being hand-fed because of all the moisture we've had, which means lower costs ultimately for the ranchers. Our Sam Kramer, by the way, much more on this story tonight at 10. Well, a dead deer found in the San Luis Valley causing Colorado Parks and Wildlife to once again remind everybody, don't feed wildlife. During an examination, corn and grain found inside the animal's stomach. We're told it's human food they can't digest and that it does more harm than good.
These are wild animals. They are wild. They were made and created to survive harsh winter conditions that Colorado has.
Feeding wildlife, by the way, also helps the spread of disease, and it's illegal.
In our Capitol Watch tonight, $185 million of public money will go to fund full-day kindergarten in Colorado. News 5's Allison Zimmerman watching out for you with reaction from lawmakers. Allison.
Elizabeth, $185 million is a lot of money, but not the full amount Governor Jared Polis asked for earlier this year when he presented a plan costing more than $225 million. Still, there are more steps to take before this becomes law. It's a campaign promise that's resonated with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle long before Governor Polis took office.
I don't think there's a single legislator who disagrees with the policy of full-day kindergarten.
And now free full-day kindergarten is one step closer to becoming a reality.
And when we heard that people really needed more investment into education, we heard that loud and clear.
The Joint Budget Committee allocating $185 million as an estimate to make it happen. But lawmakers still need to come up with a bill to go through the process.
We fund our schools through our property tax and revenues from oil and gas. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
And the decision isn't coming without some criticism. Spring Senator Owen Hill says he's concerned about coming up with the money when bills like the oil and gas bill are being considered.
If we're going to have a healthy, thriving, robust economy, that's what we need to fund our schools and to fund full-day K, and I don't see how we do both.
Escar says the Joint Budget Committee chose a more conservative approach in coming up with the budget this year, with a possible change in the economy in the next few years.
We all understand how important it is. We just have to make sure that we are prudent and we are making careful decisions about all of the funding priorities that we must attend to for the entire state.
And we could see a budget at any time now, as well as a bill for full-day kindergarten. We'll keep an eye on these for you and let you know what happens. Always watching out for you, Southern Colorado. Allison Zimmerman, News 5.
Allison, thanks. Also, the Capitol Representative Casey Becker introducing a bill that would ask voters whether the state can keep revenue it would normally have to refund under the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. Now, each year the excess money would be equally distributed to transportation, K through 12 schools, and higher education. Now, if this bill passed, that would become permanent. A bipartisan bill making its way through the Capitol could potentially ease overcrowding in our local jails. News 5's Andy Cohen tells us lawmakers looking to end cash bail for certain petty offenses here, Andy, and other low-level crimes.
That's right, Rob. House Bill 1225, it eliminates the option for judges to keep people in jail on bond for low-level petty offenses. That means below a misdemeanor, as well as certain traffic violations where no one was killed or injured and the defendant isn't suspected of eluding a police officer or tampering with their interlock device.
It's overcrowding our jails, and it's not the right thing to do.
Democrats and Republicans at the state capitol seem to agree that people shouldn't be locked up while awaiting trial on a minor offense just because they can't afford the bail.
Criminal justice is an issue that is not partisan. Justice is not partisan. And so we are able to work on a lot of these issues together, and I look forward to talking more about them.
The ACLU of Colorado, which supports the bill, studied court data and found at least 13,000 people a year would be released from jail as a result of this reform.
Open container. The most common one is trespass, and you'll see this a lot in the homeless community. You'll see past curfew in the park.
Other jailable offenses include having your dog off the leash or weeds that are overgrown.
When you have a wealth-based detention system, that those with money get out and those with no money, good luck, stay in. That's a broken and failed policy that we need to address.
And it's that issue of fairness, regardless of your wealth, that lawmakers want to address.
Poverty is not a crime, right? And what we are doing is making it so. And so this bill will change that whole process.
Bill 1225 passed out of the House Judiciary Committee unanimously, 11-0. It's expected to have a final reading on the House floor on Friday. Of course, if it passes there, then it's over to the Senate. Watching out for you, Andy Cohen, News 5.
Thanks, Andy. In your election watch now, Colorado Springs just under 2 weeks away from electing a mayor. And only on News 5, Jessica Barretto sat down with 2 of the 4 candidates, including current Mayor John Suthers and Juliette Parker, who say they're in favor of addressing infrastructure issues.
We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the internet and technology services that big companies are looking for.
We've got to deal with homelessness, affordable housing. I want to bring home all the projects that are underway.
The city also voting for 3 at-large city council seats and 1 ballot issue. A reminder, your ballots are in the mail. If you're planning to mail yours in, they need to be in the mail this week to make sure they arrive on time. You can also drop it off at any drop box. That has to be done no later than 7 at night, Tuesday, April 2nd. The full interviews with the 2 mayoral candidates and Jessica is working to get the other 2 as well. And a list of ballot drop-off locations, they can be found online at KOAA.com. Just click on the Election Watch tab.
All that snow up high, avalanche cleanup could go on for months. We're following up with which trails could actually be closed all summer long.
And we're a week into the cleanup in Pueblo after strong winds downed trees, sent branches flying. But as Bill Folsom found out, there's more to the cleanup than just picking up the debris. What he found out next. Cleanup from that wind damage in Pueblo a long way from complete. It was a week ago today when that strong storm blasted Pueblo with powerful and damaging wind.
Bill Folsom is following up for us tonight on that recovery status. Bill.
In more neighborhoods than not across Pueblo, you see broken trees and piles of logs, also branches. City parks and cemeteries, well, they're a good indicator of the damage. They've been working for a week now, and there's likely another week ahead. There's a precision to all the trees pushed down in Pueblo by the wind.
Perfectly the same direction.
Roots at the north, treetops pointing south.
We're still getting out and finding areas where we lost some trees that we weren't initially looking at, but up to around 60 trees. And some of those we call legacy trees that are over, 50, 60 years old.
A prioritized plan is still in action. Safety First sends crews to take down trees posing a threat. They then go back for removal. It's diverted city crews from other jobs.
Yeah, we're putting aside other work. I mean, we're Right now we'd be getting ready to fertilize, our parks and do some aerating and reseeding if we need to. I mean, we're going to be behind on a lot of that.
Cut, chip. Then there's another job, bringing crews back a third time.
Stump removal is probably going to go on, through the spring and into the summer.
The downed trees are making a very large pile of mulch. It is available to locals. Elizabeth?
Bill, thanks. Let's take a live look now along the I-25 gap. Tired of driving through the construction mess? We have to look at some alternatives.
Right now, let's check in with Mike.
If you like your weekend dry and mild, you'll like the first part anyway. Tracking still another Pacific storm, rain and snow by late Sunday. Details after the break here on News 5 at 6.